and when there were tablets from all the states, and there they show the rich heritage and culture of India. So
Lovely.
it was a very good experience to see it on TV, because ma'am,
Mhm.
uh, it is not ma'am, no one can go to Delhi. Everyone can't go to Delhi, but we can
Mhm.
see it on television.
Yeah. So even if you're not there, you can still celebrate, you can still enjoy it. That's lovely. I was going to ask if it was televised. So how else did you
Ma'am,
celebrate? Did you
26th January parade is always great, ma'am.
that's great, Kumar. Yes, I want to do a
The
topic on
military
this.
parade is always great. It's
Ah,
fascinating, ma'am.
and how was it yesterday? Was it good?
Unfortunately, I couldn't watch it, ma'am. But
Huh. Is
yeah, I
there a
couldn't watch it
replay?
live.
Can you watch it again?
Actually, basically, I'm from Nepal, so
Ah.
but yeah,
So there is no access. Can you watch it maybe on YouTube? I'm sure somebody will post it on YouTube.
it is
Maybe you can
access,
watch
ma'am.
it.
But I had access, but I did not find a proper time.
Okay. Well, I still want to discuss this topic. I think Sunday is a good day to discuss it. I was thinking about it, but when people are not at work, it will be a good day to discuss it. So maybe if I can find a clip, Kumar, we can watch it in the class.
Ma'am, during this Republican Day parade, every year some foreign dignitary, like head of the state, he presided over
Hmm.
this function. And ma'am, for
Ah.
due to pandemic,
Hmm.
there were no foreign dignitary for the last 2 years.
I see. That's
And ma'am,
unfortunate. Mhm.
last year, ma'am, Boris Johnson was supposed to join this Republican Day parade,
Oh,
but
I think you're lucky he didn't.
ma'am, I think he was preparing for his parties.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Okay, ma'am.
Just his
Ma'am,
name
good
makes
evening,
me.
ma'am.
Hi, Abe. Good
Yes, ma'am. How are
evening.
you,
How are
ma'am?
you?
Yes, ma'am. I am good, ma'am.
I'm good.
How about, ma'am?
Good. Abe, did you celebrate Republic Day yesterday?
Yes, ma'am. I celebrated Republic Day very well, ma'am. Our
Great.
conduct the celebration, and our project manager uh, unfurling the national flag of India, ma'am. So,
Lovely.
very good celebration, and all employee distributed, our company distributed sweet, sweet packet.
Oh, lovely. So you ate some nice sweets. Great.
Yes,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
I think sweets always
Our,
put people in a good
ma'am,
mood.
our whole country celebrating the Republic Day. Yesterday celebrated
That's lovely.
Republic Day, whole
Mm,
country.
lovely.
Yes, ma'am.
Lovely. So did it put you in a good mood? Are you feeling happy, elated?
Yes, ma'am. Too much yesterday. My very enjoyable day, ma'am. Yesterday.
Great. That's great. Ratan says, good evening, all of you. Good evening to all of you. Thanks, Ratan. That's lovely. Hemant, I think you wanted to say something. You unmuted. Do you want to say something, Hemant?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
What did you want to say? Mhm.
yes, ma'am. I celebrated Republic Day.
Great. Mhm.
Republic Day in India. Five
Mhm.
this time five country representative came to India. Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, ये five country came to five country representative है five country head president came to India.
Lovely.
This 26 January.
Great. So it's good that you still had people able to visit. And how
Yes,
did
ma'am.
you celebrate, Hemant? Did you eat nice food? Did you watch the celebrations on TV? How did you celebrate?
Yes, ma'am. I celebrated, and I am simply celebrate. I celebrated Republic Day, 26th January. He's our industry. Industry. Yes, ma'am.
Ah, lovely. So a good day.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Australia also celebrated as a Australia Day.
Ah, they
Yesterday,
celebrated Australia Day.
Yeah, yes, yesterday.
Ah, what day is Australia Day? I haven't seen the date. Is it also in January?
Ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Yes, Hemant?
Today I read news.
Ma'am?
And what news story did you read, Hemant?
Boris Johnson hit party asked party gave to resign.
I'm not sure if I could hear you. The sound is a little bit crackly, breaking up a bit. Can you repeat that, Hemant?
Ma'am, I want to ask you. Ask you, Boris Johnson, Prime Minister of Britain. His party today news. His party gave resignation.
I haven't looked. I hope so. That makes me very happy. Thank you, Hemant, for sharing that. Yes, he is not a nice person.
Resign. Who gave resign? Resignation.
Resignation. To resign, to quit.
I think the
Who
party
gave
has asked him
resignation?
to give resignation.
Ma'am? That would be great. He is an awful person and an awful prime minister.
Ma'am, is it correct that Britain has no written constitution?
No, it does have a constitution. It does.
No, ma'am, but in written form. It is not in written form.
Well, they have very old documents going back to when they wrote the original constitutions that were more to do with the monarchy, because it was at a time when the monarchy was very powerful still. It's not the kind. Yeah.
Ma'am, related to party in Corona in COVID-19 period.
Yeah.
2020.
That's
Boris Johnson.
Yeah, he should resign.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, he definitely should resign. Yes, that's very good. That makes me very happy. Thank you for letting me know that, Hemant.
Ma'am, you are very
I'm very happy.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
country, ma'am, our country constitution came effect on 26 January 1950. So every year commemorate as a Republic Day on 26 January.
Great. That's so great. I think it's also great when a country has a fairly new constitution, because it's all written there. Just like Shailendra said, is the British Constitution written? There's an old constitution which is still referred to, called the Magna Carta, and that's very old, from the 13th century, to do with the lords and the king. But there's a lot that's still unwritten, but things have been written over time. So it's great when a country like India has a full written constitution. Everything's a lot clearer, I think, which is great.
Yes,
excuse me, ma'am. May I throw some light?
Yes, Aaron.
Arun. Yeah.
Aaron.
So,
hi, Aaron.
Hi, ma'am. Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
So on 26th of January represent the day when we Indians adopted our constitution. As we all know that India the diversified culture across geography, diversified culture, geography, and nature also. So also India, before independence, India was under a rule of British, and then after there were 547 emperors. So coming into a one regime, that is India, that is India, was very difficult that very time, and our constitution makers wrote this is the largest constitution across the world. India has
Wow,
the
I didn't know.
largest constitution written across the world. Yes.
Mm.
So this constitution basic focuses upon all the categories, all the culture, all the religions, creeds, and so on. So on this 26th of January 1950, we adopted this constitution. This constitution basically the rules to run a country by our constitution maker, that constitution maker, the Dr. Baba Bhimrao Ambedkar. So on this day we celebrate as the day when we firmly adopted this rules and regulations to run this country and by all the Indians. So this day is celebrated for to portray the picture of our country, of our religion, of our culture, geographies, and our achievement we achieve on year to year basis. So this day basically marks our achievement of the Indians, by the Indians, for the Indians, to the Indians. So this is our aim of our constitution, which we every year we trying to show this to entire of the world, that India is a different country. India is a country with diversified nature, diversified culture, religion, creed, and creatures, but after all we are one, that is Indian. So so this is all the purpose of our this day, to celebrate Republic Day. Thank you.
That's lovely. A lovely explanation, Aaron. Thank you for sharing that. It's beautiful. It just, I was thinking of the word achievement, and then you used it. It sounds like a fantastic achievement to bring together so many different cultures, so many different religions, beliefs. That's not easy. So
Diversification.
Well, yes. Yeah. Well, diversification is when you try and make things more different, but it's about unifying, including diversity. So unification, we can call it a unification of India, bringing India together. Unifying is bringing together. But that's very well explained. Thank you, Aaron. That was lovely.
Thank you,
really
ma'am.
fascinating. I hope we can come back to this topic on Sunday. I will do some research. It's very interesting. And hopefully we can talk about this. Yes, I think somebody else was trying to ask a question. Was it Isha? Did you say something? I heard somebody say, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Was it you, Isha?
No,
Ma'am?
ma'am. Thank you so much for taking my name.
Ma'am, do you have any Indian friends in Britain?
Yes, I have a lot of Indian friends. I have well, they're not from India directly. I have one friend from university. One of her parents was from India. Her mother was from Mauritius. But she was born in somewhere in Africa, Tanzania. She was born in Tanzania, but then moved to England. That's the only friend I have who has a parent from India. But I have lots of friends who have Indian origins but weren't born in India.
Okay.
Yes, I have one friend who her mum makes really, really delicious food and very delicious Indian food. But they were born in England.
Ma'am, in Mauritius, Indian Bhojpuri language are spoken, ma'am.
What? Sorry, Indian language is spoken, did you say?
Bhojpuri, ma'am.
What did you say,
Bhojpuri
Kumar?
language. In Mauritius, Bhojpuri
yes, there's lots
language
of
that is
different.
spoken.
Yeah, I think French is the main language. I know her mother spoke French, but other languages too.
Ma'am, in India, we speak more than 3,000 languages.
Yeah, it's incredible. And there are
Ma'am.
lots of languages that people aren't studying. It's fantastic. I just see Min Yuna says, Anyon. Hi, I think we have someone from Korea in the chat. Welcome. You are our first Korean person to join the chat. Welcome, Min Yuna. Very exciting. Talking about different languages.
Good
yes,
evening, ma'am.
Hi, who's that?
Asma.
Ma'am,
Hi, Asma. Welcome. How are you?
Good, ma'am. What about you?
I'm good. Did you have a good day? Did you celebrate Republic Day?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I have one question. Did you ever had Indian food?
Yes, all the time. Yes.
Do
I
you
love
like
Indian
it?
food. Yes, I love Indian food.
Oh,
There
that's
are
great.
really great.
Ma'am, what is the most favorite dishes, ma'am? Indian dish.
I like paneer. I like paneer and peas in a curry sauce. I don't know, there's so many. I love korma, I love everything. But I
Ma'am,
love
have you
paneer.
ever eaten?
Paneer.
Have you ever had momo, ma'am? Momos?
No, I haven't. What's that?
Ma'am, have you ever eaten, ma'am, butter chicken?
Yes, of course. I have it all the time. I have it too much.
Yeah, ma'am. It is one of the most famous dishes of India, ma'am.
Yeah, it's very
Butter
delicious.
chicken is common, ma'am, in every parts of the world.
Okay. Yes, we have a supermarket in South Africa. They make a delicious sort of frozen ready meal butter chicken that I get quite a lot. It's very delicious.
Ma'am, momos is great, ma'am. Actually, it is Nepali cuisine, but most of the people think
what
it is
is
Chinese. Momos, ma'am. You can ask.
What is it?
Momos. M-O-M-O.
But what actually is it made of?
It is made of flour, ma'am. You can made of different flour, wheat flour, maida.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Swati. How are you?
I'm fine, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good. Did you celebrate Republic Day?
Not that much, ma'am. I was at home enjoying holiday.
Okay.
Yeah, I was talking about that. I wanted to tell you the recipe of momos.
Okay. Yes. Please tell me, what is it?
Yeah, actually, first we prepare a stuffing. So that stuffing is made up of cabbage. If you want, you can add capsicum and carrot also.
Just like ravioli, dumpling and ravioli.
Okay. And, you can add vinegar and other sauces in it, like soya sauce, tomato ketchup, like that. You can add according to your taste. And then you have to knead wheat flour, fine wheat flour, that is maida. And you have to roll out a little chapati in circular shape. And then you have to stuff that stuffing of cabbage inside that. Then lock it from all the side by putting water. Then you have to
seal it. We can also say,
ma'am, you know this dish, ma'am, actually, but here, but in your country, it is called dumpling and ravioli.
Yes. Sarika says it's a Chinese dish. According to Kumar, it's Nepalese.
It's a famous Asian dish, ma'am. But in country, people call ravioli and different kind of. It's then incorporated with pasta, ma'am.
I see. Interesting. Very interesting.
Ma'am, have you been to India sometime?
I haven't. I would like to go one day when I start traveling again. I would like to, but I haven't yet. I just want to answer Ty's question. Ty said, what is the difference between due and because? So due has different meanings. The meaning that's most like because, we have to use to after it. So we have to say it's due to, then it's the same meaning. This is due to means this is because. They're both giving the reason for something. They're both introducing, a way of introducing the reason that something happened, why something is the way it is. The difference is not in the meaning, the difference is when we use it. Yes?
Ma'am, due and because same meaning.
Say it again, Hemant.
Ma'am, due to and because both some meaning. Same meaning.
Not summary, they are a way to introduce something. They don't summarize something. It's a way to tell somebody you're giving more information about why something happened. So they're not summaries. I'll show you how to use them in a moment, but due to is more formal.
Ma'am, he is trying to say both have same meaning.
Yes.
He's asking that they both have same meaning.
Sorry, Hemant, my sound is not very good. Yes, they both have the same meaning. Yeah. So it's more about when we use them. Due to is more formal. We can say the Republic of India started, or India united or unified for many reasons, due to many reasons. We can say, I went to the gym today because I wanted to do some exercise. So because it's a little bit more informal, we can still use it in formal ways, but due to is much, much better. So that's the main reason.
In many places, we cannot use due to.
Well, in a formal place, you can. So if you're writing essays, if you're doing studies, if you want to write formal letters, you can use due to. But because it's more informal, you use it in conversation, you use it when you're talking to other people, you can use it in some work contexts as well. But due to is more formal. So yes, there are better ways.
We can say we can't go out due to rain. We can say like that.
Yeah, you can. Most people say we can't go out because of the rain. Yeah. But due to is fine too, it works. They both work in lots of different situations, but due to is better for some situations and because is better for other situations. So the main difference, Ty, is not in the meaning, it's in when we use it. And that's a really, really good question, Ty. Sarika's mentioned some nice Indian street food. Gulkupas, water balls, tiki, samosa, chali bacha. Some of those I don't know, so I'm sorry if I mispronounce those. But yes, I know samosa is very good, very delicious.
Ma'am,
yes.
Today.
Okay. Very good. So
does anyone else to Delhi? I will host you.
Thank you, Aliha. That's very kind of you. So does anyone have any questions before we start thinking about the stages of life? Does anyone else have any other questions, maybe about grammar or something they want to share about Republic Day, something, a way that they celebrated, or some nice food that you had? Okay, well, have a think about it. If there is, let me know. But we're going to talk about the stages of life, and a famous quote by William Shakespeare. He talked about the stages of life. So he wrote a play, a bit of a poem called The 7 Ages of Man, and it starts with a very famous quote. We'll look at more of the play in a moment. But let's just look at this beginning quote.
Ma'am, 3 stages or how many stages? 3 stages.
He said 7. He said 7.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
So this is the
Can
quote.
You explain him?
Yes, so hopefully you can see the quote. This is by William Shakespeare. So a lot of what he wrote was very quotable, very relevant to people's lives, which is why he's still so famous today. He said, all the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances. And one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. So players in those days meant an actor.
He's a very big writer now. Yeah, I know.
Is it big enough?
He's a famous writer. Yeah, ma'am.
Yes.
Shakespeare is a famous writer.
Very famous, yeah. I think England's or Britain's most famous writer, most well-known. and a very old writer. So he was alive in the 16th and the 17th century, almost 500 years ago. He was alive and writing. So his words have, we say, stood the test of time. If something stood the test of time, it's an idiom and a little bit of a metaphor. We're not saying it's really standing. We're saying it's still relevant after a long time. Still relevant to people today after a long time. So we can say films have stood the test of time. Films that were made in the 40s or the 50s, if they're very good, they might have stood the test of time. If a book is still relevant or still read today, it's stood the test of time. So we can say Shakespeare's work has stood the test of time. If anyone else can think of any other writers, books, films that stood the test of time, things that are very old, but are still good, still read, still relevant to our lives, still have an important message, then let me know. So players in those days were actors because they acted in a play. So they were called players. So he means actors. So what do you think he means by this quote? Is he saying that everyone's an actor in the world? What is he trying to say? What do we think? Does anyone want to have it? Yeah, Swati?
He wanted to say that everyone has come on this earth to play a role which was given by God.
Yeah, excellent. We're playing a role. We're not really actors, but every role we have in life, it's a bit like we're acting it. So we have our exits and our entrances. Do you agree? Do you agree that we play different roles in our lives?
Yeah, ma'am, I agree. Yeah, agree.
Okay. What are the different roles?
Ma'am, actually, it shows the phases of human. Like human has so many stages in his life. When sometimes he is old, and sometimes he is a young, and then he become a teenager, and then he become adult, and then one day he become old. So maybe it shows the stage of human life.
Yeah, he's saying that too. He says his acts being 7 ages. So our act, an act is a part of the play. We say act 1, act 2. So his acts, his different parts being 7 ages. So basically 7 stages of life. So what do you think are the 7 stages that he's talking about?
Ma'am, infant, first stage.
Excellent. Infant, definitely. What else are the other stages? What do we think?
When kid is in womb.
Yeah. So did you say a kid?
Ma'am, newborn, or we can offspring in a womb.
Yeah, an infant or a newborn.
Infant, newborn.
Yeah, an infant or a newborn is a young baby.
Yes, and second child, ma'am.
And first infant, then child,
Ma'am, then
then
toddler,
teenager,
toddler,
then teenager, then
children,
elder,
and
then become old.
Young.
Middle age, then become old.
Young.
Okay, so let's think about this. So Maya, you said middle age.
Yeah, ma'am. After teenager, grown up and young age, and middle age, and then old.
Adult, very good. Adult.
Adult, then become old. Middle age, and then become older, ma'am.
Okay, an old adult. We have
and old age.
We have 6 so far. Old age, older adult, you could say, or old age, depends.
Madam, between teenager and adolescent stage can come.
Okay, what would we call this stage between teenager and adult?
Ma'am, when a kid is in the womb of the mother, offspring, when
fetus. We call it a fetus.
Yeah, ma'am, fetus.
Okay.
Yeah, you could call it a fetus. We could call the stage 0 or stage 1. We can change the numbers in a moment. But yes, we can say that somebody's a fetus. A fetus. Does anyone know any other words for it? There are more than one word.
Embryo.
Embryo, excellent. Yeah. An embryo is the
Yes,
early
ma'am.
stages of a fetus. So you're right, you have the embryo, then the fetus. But yeah.
Fetus.
Yeah, fetus. Fetus is the little baby in the womb, like Shailendra said. So the embryo is
the... this is not in age.
Yeah, I think it depends on your opinion. Do you think it's an age, Abe? Do you think that the fetus or the embryo, is it an age? Do you count it as
not
it
age?
is considered as prenatal age.
Prenatal. Yeah, that's a great word, Swati. Prenatal. Natal means before birth. So yes. Prenatal, before birth. Excellent. Yeah. Okay, and so we will put this as the 0. Pardon?
After that, postnatal. All other
postnatal, excellent. Yeah. Postnatal, excellent. Post-birth, very good. So anything pre is before, anything post means after. Natal means birth. If you speak any French, Spanish, nay, any words like that are to do with birth. Very good. What else? Do we have any other names for these different stages, or do we have any other stages to add? What does anyone else think? Do you know any other words to do with these stages?
Adolescent age, adolescent stage.
Excellent. Yeah, adolescent is another name for a teenager, an adolescent.
Okay, I thought it is between teenager and
teenager is called an adolescent and teenager means the same thing. An adolescent is a teenager.
Okay.
So an adolescent is a teenager. The time of being a teenager is called adolescence. That's the time of being a teenager. We can almost call it teenagehood, but there's not really a word. We don't really say teenagehood, but I'm just writing
old
that
age
to
people,
explain the meaning.
After 70 years, old age people, they are called old age.
Okay, so yeah, you could say old age, you could say older.
Senior citizen, ma'am. Senior citizen.
Senior citizen, yeah. Senior citizen, that's another.
Elderly people?
Yeah, elderly. Being elderly is an age. Yeah, excellent. What else? Does anyone have any other words? Adolescent is great. Yes, we do use senior citizen to categorize people. Does anyone know any other phrases?
Can we call retired people?
Young people?
Young people, yeah. Young people's quite general. It could be teenager, it could be adolescent. We can talk about a young adult. Sometimes people talk about a young adult. That could be one stage. Does anyone know any other words?
Old age people, can we call them retired person? Retired?
Yeah, definitely. Retired. A retiree. You can say a retired person, or a retiree is a person who's retired. Excellent. A youth. Excellent. Yeah, you can talk about youth, young adult, youth. Again, youth can apply to maybe many things. Maybe it could be a teenager, it could be a young adult. That depends, but youth is a great word. Excellent, Aaron. I'm very impressed. We've got lots of great words here. Does anyone have any others?
Senior adult, ma'am.
Senior citizen. We don't usually say a senior adult. Senior citizen is usually the phrase. What do we think? Do we think these are all the stages? Have we missed one? What stages do you think Shakespeare was talking about when he said the 7 acts, the 7 ages? Okay, well, let's look at some of the quotes that he said. Does anyone have any questions?
Ma'am, actually, the person, may I, ma'am?
Yeah?
Ma'am, they have their exits, ma'am.
And one more age, ma'am.
Hold on, one at a time. Hold on, Abe. Hold on. Kumar first. Yes, Kumar, what were you saying?
Ma'am, he is trying to say they have their exits. That means, ma'am, the age of death, ma'am. And their interest, ma'am, born, ma'am, newborn.
Yeah, you're right. Exits, by exits, we say exit stage left, exit stage right. So we talk about exits for actors on a stage, but you're right. Here he means death. Talks about the exits, entrances, birth. That's exactly what he's talking about. Abe, what did you want to say?
Ma'am, you wrote only 6 age and one more age, ma'am.
Yes, what do you think? We're going to look at it in a moment, but I want to hear your ideas first. How would you categorize the different?
Ma'am, 7
Yes, Swapna, what do you?
I don't know, ma'am. 7 is 7th age.
Okay, well, we'll think it depends a little bit how you categorize it. He also put it into different roles. So ages and the roles you have in life. So what we've categorized, what we've thought about are the different ages, the different stages, but he also talks about the different roles that we have in our lifetime. We're going to look in a moment. We're going to look in a moment. So I think Swapna had a question.
Yeah, I just want to say that dotage can also be said for death.
What can?
Right? Dotage. DOTAGE.
Dotage?
Yeah.
For what?
For death.
When you
or maybe when a person is old and weak.
Dotage is usually when you dote upon somebody. Yeah, you could use it. It's a little bit old-fashioned. We wouldn't really use it commonly today, but yes, it's more of an adjective. Like saying someone's elderly, someone's retired, but we wouldn't really, you wouldn't hear it in common English. But it's a great word. Well done. Well done for knowing that word. It's a fantastic word.
Okay, thank you.
But definitely we can.
Ma'am, I think in middle age we play many roles, ma'am. Like role of father, role of husband, role of good citizen.
Yeah.
Many roles, ma'am. And that is middle age, ma'am, I think.
Yeah.
And one more age we have
wife.
Ma'am. There we play role of grandfathers.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So there are the different stages of life, the different ages, and then the different roles that we play, the different responsibilities that we have, who we are. Exactly. Well done. So let's think about how he categorized it first. So does anyone have any questions before I remove this quote about the quote? Okay. So yes, he also categorized it based on the roles that we take on in life. It's not just about the ages, although that's really important to think about. We can think about what is life like as an infant, a newborn? What is life like as a child or a toddler? What is life like as a teenager? It's a little different. But he also categorized based on roles. So this is the first two roles that he decided were the different acts or the different stages of life. The infant, so he used the word infant. Mewling, it's an old word, we don't use it nowadays. Puking means throwing up in the nurse's arms. Then the whining schoolboy with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like snail and willing to go to school. So he talked about the infant, the schoolboy, playing different roles. What are some other words we could use to categorize the word schoolboy? What role is that? What if you're a girl? You could say schoolgirl. Are there any other words we could use?
Ma'am, what is mewling mean?
So mewling, crying, moaning, pardon?
We can say student.
Yeah. Student, yeah. Did you say student, Maliha?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, that's exactly, yeah. So we can categorize this role of life as a student during the age of being a child or a teenager, the student. Exactly. Does anyone have any other questions about this? So mewling, like I said, it's a very old-fashioned word. We don't use it nowadays. Remember, this was written in the late 16th century. So almost 500 years ago. So the English has changed a little bit, but a lot of it is quite relevant. Okay, so those are the first two things he talked about. Then he talked about the different roles that we play. So he didn't talk about adult. He didn't talk about teenager. In the 16th century, they didn't have the idea of teenager. They just thought about child and adult. The concept of teenager comes from America in the 50s. That's when the idea of a teenager was sort of thought about and invented. It's quite a new word. Yes, they didn't even know about sort of teenagehood. We know now that it is a different stage of life. If we look at the science, like somebody mentioned last time, we know that there are different things happening in your brain, in your body, but they didn't in those days. So then again, he went to talk about the different roles. He didn't say the different ages. He said the lover. People play lovers in their life, and then the lover sighing like furnace with a woeful ballad. A ballad is a song, a poem made to his mistress's eyebrow. Then a soldier, full of strange oaths. An oath is a vow, a promise. A vow is when you promise to do something or you swear to do it. You say, I swear.
Our age, our body get changed, our thinking get changed.
Yeah, that's true as well. Yeah.
It's a
Things
pubertal
change.
age.
Pardon, Swati?
It's a pubertal age.
What's pubertal age? Puberty? You're right?
Yes, that teenager stage is a pubertal age.
Yeah, excellent. You can call it puberty as well. That's another word for it. Yeah, that more focuses on what's happening in your body and your mind. That's a great word. Yeah, excellent, Swati. Yeah, we can split it into that. So he said, the lover and the soldier, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel. Quarrel is to fight. Seeking the bubble reputation, even in the cannon's mouth. So he said the lover and the soldier. Does everyone play the role of a soldier in today's world?
Like fighting.
Yeah, we all are fighting Corona. In that way, we all are soldiers.
That's very true. We're all soldiers. Why do you think it was so important, a stage of life, that he put it down? Sarika said a college boy is also a student. Yeah. A student, college boy. Yeah, great word. You can use that as a description. But why do you think he put soldier? Is this such an important role to play in life?
Ma'am, because on those days, these wars were very common. So, ma'am, there was a need for every citizen to be a soldier.
Yeah, exactly. Most citizens had experience of war, especially if you weren't aristocratic, you would probably have to fight. Yeah.
Like, ma'am, at the teenage, because of the hormonal changes, you have so much of energy and so much of aggression in your conduct that like you are ready to fight with each and every situation. So
yeah, I mean, you could apply.
That's why probably they have called a soldier teenager.
Yeah, I think there is an element that it could be a bit of metaphor as well. You're right. The soldier ready to make strange oaths, promises, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, ready to fight. It could be a little bit of a metaphor.
Yeah, because in
that's why we called young blood. Young blood.
Yeah, young blood. Yeah, young energetic. Yeah. Swapna, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I was saying that because during teenage years, we would be more fearless about the things, and that's why most of the time the teenagers might go into wrong paths. They have the choice.
Exactly. I think you're right. There is a bit of the metaphor there, because yes, soldiers would have been much more common in those days. Not everyone would have been a soldier, but fighting was more common. But you're right, there is the element of him talking about quick to quarrel, fighting quickly, being jealous. There's the element of sort of the young person there. He's not talking about the old person in this. What about the lover? Do we all play a lover in our lifetime? Is that a role? What do you think?
Yes, ma'am, it's a role.
Is it so important that we would need to include it in the 7 roles that we play in our lifetime?
It is very important, ma'am. We cannot imagine our life without love. Yes, ma'am. It is not in terms of like boyfriend or girlfriend. Love can be, it is everywhere, between daughter and mother, between father
between
and
God,
daughter.
between every
Even you
relation.
love your pet so much.
You're right, it can apply to lots of different things. Here he's talking about, Aaron?
In fact, love is not love cannot be determined by any relation. It can be felt in a situation when you feel something good and the most happiest person that very time because of the other person, because of the situation. So this is the situation basically. So it is not restricted to a boyfriend or girlfriend. It can be everywhere. It can be everywhere, and no such relation bound us for a love. So love is basically a feeling of
Love is
happiness.
blind. Ma'am, love is blind.
I like, love is
Yes.
blind. That's a great one.
Love is blind.
Also, Aaron, there's another quote, I think it's from a song, which says, love lifts us up. It makes us happy. It doesn't actually physically lift us up, but it lifts our life. It makes our life better.
Yes.
Love lifts us up. It's a metaphor. It makes things better. It's true.
And at the touch of love, everyone becomes poet, by Plato.
Yeah, that's very true. And yes, Shakespeare wrote a lot about love. Here he does mean, he is talking about his girlfriend, his mistress. In those days, you'd call them a mistress. But you're right, there's the element that it's part of the stage of life, or it's an element, a role of life. Okay, so the next ones that he talks about are a little bit more open to your own interpretation, your own thinking about what he means. Why is this an important stage of life, and which stage of life is he referring to? So I think, Swati, you were very right about saying that, the soldier could also be the teenager, because he's definitely talking about the early life. This one, he talks about the life as being justice. Justice is a role that we play in life. This is a little bit less clear. He says, and then the justice. So, and then the role of the justice. And he describes what the justice would look like. He says, in fair round belly, so round belly with a good cap on line, with eyes severe, so taking things seriously, and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws, so full of saying wise things, modern instances, and so he plays his part. What do we think he means by the justice? What age of life is the justice? Who is the justice?
He's referring to middle-aged people.
Adults, ma'am?
Yeah. Pardon, Maliha?
Grown up adult.
Yeah, definitely adult. What kind of adult is he describing? He's saying you have
25.
When a person becomes middle-aged and he has a very good experience of life, he can give a good advice, good experiences to the younger ones.
Yeah, excellent. Well done, Chandra. Yeah, he's not talking about the soldier quick to fight, being all jealous, having all these emotions, or the lover. He's talking about a severe person, a serious person who's wise. And and who is Justice, who thinks about what's good, values, things like this. So he's almost comparing being more serious with getting older, not more serious and not being able to have fun, but being more wise. Do we think this is true? Do we become more wise
Yes,
and
ma'am.
more fair?
It's called, ma'am,
Yes,
middle
ma'am.
age.
Is the at this stage, ma'am, a person becomes calm and composed. He becomes focused, able to choose the right path.
He become wise, ma'am.
Yeah. So do you agree that does everyone become more wise as they get older?
No, ma'am, it's not like that. It depends on your surroundings, the friends you have, and your family background also very important.
And they have some experience. That's why he become wise.
Ma'am, it's all about social culture. Ma'am, it's
Say
all
that again,
about
Aaron?
social culture. It's all about social culture. Social culture.
Yeah, that's true.
SOCI,
Depends on
social culture.
Yeah, that's good. The culture of the people around you.
Social culture.
And,
Yeah, culture.
and also it also makes sense when we actually learn from, you know, during teenage and how we grow up. So that time when we fail and we try to learn from our mistakes, so that's how we will be able to you know, have a good view and be able to define what is wrong and what is right, and that's how we will prosper and be respected.
Exactly. And that's what justice is all about, knowing what is right, what is wrong. So he said we transform from the soldier quick to be angry, jealous, wanting to fight, to somebody who is severe, serious, and wise. Does anyone have any questions about this or anything else they want to say? Okay, so let's go to the sixth age or the sixth role that he talks about. Into the lean and slippered pantaloon, pantaloon or pants. So he's saying your pants become bigger, maybe spectacles on nose, so glasses. Spectacles is an old-fashioned word for glasses, and pouch on side. In those days, they would carry a pouch. Yeah, exactly. He's talking about old age. He's describing what an older person, older man might look like. Looser pants, glasses on face, his pouch of money in those days. His big manly voice turning again towards childish treble, pipes and whistles in his sound. So it's saying that in some ways we become a little bit more childish as we age. Our voice, instead of being all manly like the soldier, we might go back into sort of a childish voice as we age. Do you think this is true?
Yes, it is true, because you know the entire human life cycle is kind of circle. So when we become like when we grow up and we come to middle age, the cycle starts coming back to where we started. So the moment we die, it is like we are infant. We are not able to do anything. We need support. So old age comes before that, where we need support from our children.
Yeah. That's true. And that's exactly how he describes it as well. Swapna, that's a really excellent way of describing it. He mentions this word infant again.
Ma'am, have you seen that, ma'am, Curious Case of Benjamin Button?
Yes, yes. That's a great example to talk about with this. Yes. Did you like it, Shailendra?
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am. Brad Pitt and ma'am, the actress Kate Winslet in that movie.
Kate Blanchett, yeah.
Yeah. It was a very good movie.
Yes,
ma'am.
that's
yeah.
That's actually a very, very good film to watch on this topic. So if anyone's interested, yeah, that's a great recommendation. Thank you, Shailendra. The yes, the Life of Benjamin Button, very, very good. Yes, it makes a point about our lifetime, because he starts as an old man and goes back to being young. That's really interesting. So yeah, if anyone's looking for some films, that's a great point. Sarika says, yeah, it's true. Okay. And then he mentions the last age. So he says the last scene of all. A scene is obviously a word we use for films or for plays. The last scene of all that ends this strange, eventful history, the strange time, the strange event is second childishness. So just like you said, Swapna, that it's circular, life is circular. He mentions this idea of the infant or the child, mere oblivion, sans. So sans is French for without teeth, without eyes, without taste, without everything. Mere oblivion. Is he talking about death here? Is he talking about very old age? We don't know. It's up to interpretation, depends what you think. So I want to know what you think about Shakespeare's description of life. Do you agree with it? Is it a good description? Do you think there are better ways of talking about life and stages and roles? What do you think? Sarika says, can you write the name of the movie? Yeah, sure. I think, is it The Life of Benjamin Button, Chandra?
The Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Curious Case, yeah, sorry. The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. That was it, yeah. Thank you so much for that suggestion, Sunendra. There you go, Sarika. I hope you get a chance to watch it. I hope you enjoy it. Does anyone have any opinions they want to express on Shakespeare's idea of life? Do you agree with it? Are there better ways to categorize? Has he done a good job? What do we think?
Yeah, I think from my perspective, Shakespeare had explained it very well. The stages of life and how they go through different emotions till they are born and until they die.
Yeah, yeah. He sort of phrased it in a nice metaphorical way. There's lots to read into and think about. He phrased it in ages and in the roles that we play. Are there any roles that he missed out, do you think? Really important roles that maybe he didn't talk about? Or maybe important ages that he didn't mention? Shailendra, what do you think?
Ma'am, I like this poem of this Shakespeare.
Mm-hmm.
He used very good words and in a very simple language. And ma'am, it is like a puzzle. You need to scratch your brain to get the meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a very good.
That's true. Yeah, I think that's what writers and people who study Shakespeare like so much about him, because there are so many things to unpick, so much to think about, so many words to look at and think about with his writing. It's not just simple, it takes time, and there's so much expressed in his language. Yeah. So he's a really good example if you want to challenge yourself with some very difficult English. And I think you all did a fantastic job. I'm very, very impressed. Swapna, you came up with some fantastic ideas. I think that maybe you should think about maybe a career in analyzing poetry or some kind of literature. I think you would be very good at that.
Maybe.
I think so. Maybe you should, consider that. You express things very well.
Yeah, thank
yes,
you.
You have a lovely way of expressing things. Swapna, you express things so concisely and so perfectly. So well done. Thank you so much to everyone for joining. Does anyone have any last questions? We'll do a different topic next time.
Hi, ma'am.
But we can. Hi, Dipali. How are you?
I'm fine, ma'am. How about you?
I'm good. Did you have a good day, Dipali? Did you celebrate Republic Day?
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent.
I had gone to my college. And
you had gone to?
My college.
Ah, lovely. Were there celebrations at your college?
Yes, ma'am. In 7 p.m.
Okay, lovely. That's really great.
Yes, ma'am. Excuse me.
Yes, Ave, how are you?
Yes, ma'am. I am good, ma'am. Ma'am, your office scene has changed.
My what?
Office,
yes.
ma'am. Your room
out into the garden. You can't see it, but there's a garden behind me. It's too bright.
Yes, ma'am.
I always think it's a nice background, but it's always too light to see it. But there's a nice tree behind me.
Yes,
ma'am.
Thank you. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining.
Ma'am.
Yes, Abe?
How is weather?
It's lovely today. It's very hot, not too hot. It was very, very hot the last 2 days, but it's nice today. It's sunny, but not too hot.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am,
thank you, Abe. It's good to have you back. Yes, Javali?
Your weather is very cold, ma'am.
In some ways, that's good because it was very hot here. I don't think you'd want the hot weather that it was 2 days ago. It was too hot to move.
Yeah.
But are you wrapping up warm? Are you drinking nice hot drinks? I hope so. Take care. It's important to take care when we have COVID and it's cold. Sarika says something really lovely about the Shakespeare poem. That Shakespeare might be many people knew about it, but the way he wrote it is a very expressing way. Yes, I know what you mean, Sarika. He almost encapsulated, talked about things that can apply to many people's lives. Even though he was talking from a man's perspective, kind of applies to women's too, which I think is so great. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. I will be back on Sunday, so have a good weekend if I don't see you. And thank you so much.